Hi, I'm Angelina Barba, and I bring over 17 years of dental experience. I had the pleasure and the privilege of falling in love with dentistry many years ago. And, through this passion of dentistry, I've gained a comprehensive understanding of really practice dynamics. I love working with Fortune because it allows me to be able to serve and transform people's lives. Our motto is extraordinary practice and extraordinary life. And through Fortune, I have been able to help people create that for themselves, helping them, guiding them, and coaching them to really identify what they want and get that outcome that they want. So I'm a true, firm believer of constant and never-ending improvement, KPIs as we call it. And I do try to strive that and embody that principle every day. And it starts by walking your talk, right? You model and people follow. One of the most common areas where I really do see practices struggle is consistency in their administrative systems. So especially maybe around scheduling, treatment planning, and very important case acceptance. What's great about this? It doesn't take a complete overhaul to turn these things around. You start with really clear written protocols and you train to them. You have to calibrate the entire team around the practice's vision and the ideal schedule. It is so important to calibrate around the ideal schedule because when everyone is aligned, then that's when the schedule becomes the true tool of growth for the practice. So it's all about creating the systems that support the people, not the other way around. KPI is about progress. It is not about perfection. So you have to start small. One system, one habit at a time. And you absolutely have to involve your team. Keep the focus positive. You have to build in weekly touch points with your team that allows you to reflect and to improve, right? That's part of the ultimate success formula. Now, when growth becomes part of the rhythm of your practice, it really energizes the team instead of, exhausting them. Technology should enhance the human experience. It should not replace it. So when we focus on the why behind these tools, you train with intention. And when you train with intention, it aligns, technology with the patient experience. The best part is when technology handles those background work, and then your team, your human talent is actually freed up to focus on what's most important and what really adds value, which is the relationships. That is what really creates that wow experience that your practice and your brand should be known for. KPIs are so important. Some of the numbers would be definitely production versus collections. Case acceptance is so important. New patient flow, hygiene reappointment rates, hygiene efficiency rates, and definitely accounts receivable and aging. These numbers truly reveal where, some of your systems are excelling and some of where your systems may be breaking down a little bit. So you have to monitor them consistently. It has to be a consistent effort, and you have to use them in your decision-making process for your practice. It all starts with listening. You have to have absolutely, excellent listening skills. You got to listen to the numbers, you got to listen to your team, and you really have to listen to that workflow. That's what allows you to be able to diagnose what the root cause is, and then you can figure out a way to simplify that solution, and you can implement full team buy-in. Your full team has to have buy-in into this process and how you're going to fix this. It's not about making it more complex or adding complexity to it. It's really about creating that clarity, and you have to build momentum. I go back to my previous point through small, meaningful changes because that's what creates that success later on. You have to bring your team into the why. They need to understand that why, and you need to involve them in building the how. So you have to set really clear expectations. You have to assign ownership, and then you have to follow up through execution, support, and of course it's really important, recognition as well. Consistency is always going to come down to team alignment and strong leadership skills, not just documentation. Documentation won't get the job done if you don't have, strong leadership skills. You have to start with the essentials, right? The essentials like scheduling, collections, again, case acceptance, it's so important, hygiene recall, and very, very important, your wow experience in that system that makes you unique. The last one is key. You have to define what you want your patients to feel when they're in the practice. What do you want them to feel? How do you want them to trust you? And then you build those systems that really consistently deliver on that promise that you made, that brand that you have built. These are cornerstones of truly strong, sustainable practices. When systems are broken, the team feels stressed, they feel frustrated, and they're not motivated. Now, when you have strong systems, the people feel empowered, they feel supported, and they feel involved. So I worked with a practice that went from truly like burnout, as we call it, and you go into breakthrough just by aligning their systems and giving them structure. Again, they need to understand the why, not just, the how. Great systems really create trust, and trust is what's going to transform your culture. One of the most important systems we've talked about is scheduling to goal, or the ideal schedule. I have multiple instances of walking into practices that are working really hard. They're really doing everything they can to support their patients to reach those production and collection goals. But at the end of the day, if they don't have a clear ideal schedule, then they're working harder, not smarter. When you actually turn it around into really creating that ideal schedule that's going to make you and your team work more efficient, then you flip the page to work smarter, not harder, and still yield those desired results based on growth, production, and collections that your team and you want for your practice.